we'll talk about the Grammys first because that has happened, and then we'll talk about the Brits nominations. But
Mhm.
Grammys, uh, there was quite a few headlines from the Grammys. So
Yeah.
Beyonce would I think was the most nominated for Best Album without winning it, and has now scooped the prize. Which
Had Beyonce never won Album of the Year at the Grammys?
no,
That's
no, and I
crazy.
yeah. So she managed to win it with this Cowboy Carter country.
I did not realize that came out last year. I thought it was 23.
At the time, I was a bit weird about it because obviously country's always been massive, but it was getting mainstream attention, and then
Mhm.
obviously Beyonce then went into it, and it reminded me a bit like Maroon Five, who just shapeshift to whatever's popular at the time. Their sound will just
Yeah,
follow, just pure money.
Coldplay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a bit like that. So I didn't really warm to it. I've not listened to it, but don't get me wrong, I think Beyonce's incredible.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I mean, I'm not I wouldn't call myself a Beyonce fan. I don't really listen to Beyonce, nor have I heard the
no,
album, but you don't get as big as Beyonce is without making some good records.
yeah, and then vocally and just as a performer, it's just undoubted talent, I would say.
Mhm.
So is it a bit like the DiCaprio winning the Oscar for what
The
was
Revenant.
the Revenant, where maybe she should have won this before, and it's time. But there was some stiff competition
Yeah,
for
I
that
mean,
album.
there's the like the best ones for me. You're looking at Chappell Roan and Charlie,
Yeah,
and
was Sabrina Carpenter up for it as well?
yeah, little
What I
known
noticed they managed to
Liverpool.
do though, they spread it out, haven't they? So they gave like pop album or something to Sabrina Carpenter,
Yeah,
dance
they all
album
got something,
to
didn't they?
Brat. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've copped out, but then
yeah. Did you notice rising Northern English stars, the Beatles, picked up a gong?
I was going to bring the best rock performance.
Best rock performance. I mean, maybe they should have been on the BBC's list
They've,
because clearly
they've
they've
done
missed a
well.
trick.
They've done well to put in that performance in 2024.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Rolling Stones
quite a
got one
good
as well.
song. Yeah, the Rolling Stones one I think is kind of a travesty because they're
Fontaines.
was yeah, it's got to be Fontaines, and like it's not even a good record. They've won that because they're the Rolling Stones. You know, I
Yeah.
think I would say the Jack White album is better than it. Fontaines is definitely better than it. Idols is not better than it, and
Yeah.
I haven't heard the Pearl Jam record, but and I've actually never heard of the Black Crows, to be fair. But there's
Yeah.
no way that Hackney Diamonds is the best album on that list. It's a
I'd
bit of a
also imagine that
disgrace.
Beatles wouldn't have won it if it wasn't for the name the Beatles either.
Oh,
But
100%.
um, did Fontaines win any? Because I remember when they first got nominated, I was
No, I
thinking
don't think they did. Was it? They were up for a rock performance as well, and I don't think they won
so.
that.
So it looks like they've been beaten by Rolling Stones and the Beatles, which I think is quite sad.
Yeah, it is a bit, and I think it's kind of um endemic of what the Grammys is, in that it's just a bit of a kind of industry backslap for a few hours, hand out some
Yeah,
awards to people who you like, and then see you all next year, you know?
yeah. There's always it's always headlines, isn't it? It's very LA-ified. Um,
Yeah.
Chappell Roan, as you mentioned, we've got best new artist. I'm just having a
Yeah,
look.
yeah. Good
There was
pick
that.
from the
Oh,
BBC
God,
there, to be fair.
did you did you see Kanye West arriving
Uh,
with his
with his
wife? Is she
wife.
now?
Yeah, I did see that, and
Very
whilst
surreal.
whilst I'm, fully like, where were you like, hashtag free the nipple, it suggests to me perhaps maybe some controlling behavior on Kanye's part because she
I've
didn't
seen
look
it.
all that thrilled about what was going on.
I've seen a lot of people saying that, but she does this all the time, doesn't she?
But
It's
she does it all the time. But it's whether that is her choice to do it all the time. I think
yeah,
is where the
it's
question lies.
yeah. I did think though it's hard to make those accusations. Is it just based off a snippet of
Well, entirely, yeah. But it's also
yeah,
just another sort of view of Kanye desperately trying to cling on to any sort of relevance that because he's managed to seriously like piss it up the wall in terms of his career and his popularity. And,
yeah,
there was a
uh,
time where he was absolutely untouchable. And now I would say he's widely hated.
yeah, definitely. Well, he said some horrible
Some
things.
completely insane shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good, and I think on not on the not on the top end of the scale of horrible things he said, but he was talking about AI in music today and how he's not going to stop and
Yeah,
use
it's
that and things like that.
just
Um,
so lame, isn't it? Like
it's just attention grabbing, isn't it? It's a headline grab.
100%. Yeah, he's kind of become Morrissey, hasn't he?
Possibly. Anything else
Well,
on the
yeah, you look,
Grammys?
you've got the desperate to stay relevant, saying anything controversial to stay in the headlines, and the clear far right links. He is Morrissey.
Got to do one of them like photos where it just merges the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Charlie XCX's performance? Where
I
the
did. I just before we move on, I was going to say Morris Yee, like Morrissey
oh.
and his Yee. Just edit that so it sounds really good, if you don't mind.
I'll do my best.
Yeah,
I'm
I
now
did
going to be
see
trying to
Charlie.
think of Smith's Kanye West puns and
No, Morrissey is the
Morrissey.
pinnacle. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yes, I did see Charlie, and I thought, like, she's just utterly dominated the world last year, and she
Yeah.
absolutely deserves her moment in the awards show, Son, because that album and kind of everything about it is just out of this world good, and the success that it's had from like marketing through to performance through to the recording, it's just like been utterly dominant. And I wouldn't say it's not like someone like Taylor Swift who sells a lot of records, but I wouldn't say she makes a lot of waves. There's not a lot of kind of groundbreaking or even interesting stuff that kind of goes on in Taylor Swift songs. Whereas Brat is the opposite end of the scale to me. I enjoyed watching Kendrick clean up as well. I thought
Yeah.
that was very good. And it's something like the only R&B or rap song that's like a diss track to win at the Grammys.
Oh, was it the Drake one then?
It was Not Like Us, yeah, which was great, brilliant, and he looked very cool in like old denim, I thought.
Of course, of course. Oh, just on Charlie XCX, thought it was a great moment when the Dare popped up. Did you
Oh
see
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Just in like the crowd of girls, and he just in his obviously black suit,
yeah.
black tie. Just
That
I
man
don't know.
is
There's something about him that just makes me laugh every time I see him. But like
that
that's what
man
he's
is living
going
the
for,
dream.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy is like, I mean, I wonder if he's like crushingly sad, perhaps, but either way, the guy is doing something right.
yeah. I really like his some of his tunes as well, and I don't know. I just feel like he's created this persona for himself. That's
Yeah,
and didn't he
100%.
produce some of Charlie XCX's
Yeah, he
tour?
worked on the album for sure. I don't
Yeah,
know exactly where, but he features either as a production or writing, possibly like beats or something. But yeah, he's involved.
yeah. No. Anything else on the Grammys before we go to
Um,
this side
no,
of the
that was
pond?
kind of it. Fontaines Robbed was my sort
Yeah.
of biggest takeaway from it.
Mm.
And did you see Chappell Roan's speech afterwards, her sort of acceptance speech,
No.
where she was encouraging record labels to sort of pay artists fairly, which is fair enough. And she is very good at using her platform for social and industry good. So, respect to Chappell for continually killing it and being really cool.
Yeah. No, it's good to see one
And,
because obviously she doesn't need that now. So
not after getting that
it's
BBC nod,
exactly what. Yeah, the big things.
she's
Big
made.
things.
Yeah.
2025. This is the year. This is the year. Um, right. I think she's also nominated for a Brit. Um,
She is, yeah.
not British, obviously, but they do the overseas ones. But I thought I'd try
International
and
Artist of the Year.
segue in. Yes. Brit nominations are out. I think it's a mixed bag. I think there's some very, very good categories and some very, very bad categories.
Yeah, I've got
What
to
are your
agree.
takes?
I think the Brit Awards, they like every year I go into the Brit Awards and I'm like, right, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to see what happens and I get a good taste of the industry or the flavor or whatever, and it just annoys me. It just like pisses me off, and it kind of makes me feel like an old man. But I also think that they are like the BBC, kind of just behind the times a bit. They're late to catch up to stuff. They're late to pick people
Mm,
who are interesting. And whilst there is some good stuff in there, there's some crap as well, like some terrible stuff. And I think the
yeah,
Brit Awards themselves have become slightly sanitized. Like
yeah,
much like the Grammys, it's very kind of let's give some awards out to some people who went to Brit school, have a few drinks, see you next year. You know,
Yeah.
there's no more like Jarvis isn't getting his bum out. You know, there's no invoice me for the microphone. You know, like a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that kind of made the Brits so charming. You know, Liam Gallagher singing "Shite Life," and then
Mm.
you know when he came back to get his Legend Award, throwing the Brit Award into the crowd or whatever. Stuff like that, I think, is what is like exciting, and it gives you
Mm.
a glimpse into the artist's world a little bit and a little bit of disruption. And I think it just feels very sanitized. It's
Yeah.
it's a Barclaycard advert or a Mastercard advert rather than an industry thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the positives, I think, for me, the come from, I think the album category is quite strong. I think Ezra Collective, um, Lost in a Party are in for it.
Yeah.
I think that was
Brat,
a
of
consistent.
course, The Cure.
Yeah, Brat. I think Brat will win it. Based
Yeah, I
on
wouldn't be surprised. And you know, even the artist category, there's some big names in there. You know, Baby Doobie, I didn't realize Baby Doobie was British. I thought she was American. But you know, you
yeah,
got
yeah, same.
Charlie, you got Jamie XX, Michael Kiwanuka, big up Near Archives. I hope she wins.
Yeah.
Sam Fender as well. You know,
Uh,
it's a strong
I think
list.
yeah, Sam Fender obviously had a big hit, but I'm surprised he's up for artists just because I feel like this is his year now of this
Yeah,
cycle.
25 is his year because the
Yeah,
album's
but
not even out, is it?
again, it's just a case of the Brits throwing a big name in, just the being a bit slightly out of touch with what's actually going on. I
Well,
think
yeah,
he'd
and
have
they
been
can't.
surprised at the nod for,
Yeah,
for best
well, they
artist.
can't nominate Fontaines for that category, can they? I suppose. So,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah, I
Fontaines
don't
will be
know.
up for overseas, won't
I believe they are. Yeah, international artist is a lot of people that I haven't heard of. Beyonce, Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, Kendrick Lamar. Oh no, they're not. Oh, they'll be international group. I see.
Yes,
And
international
see
group.
now that's a stacked list. You got Amel, Confidence Man, and Fontaines DC all in that group.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I mean. Little snippets of the noms like that. I thought were quite refreshing to see because Amel and the
mhm.
Sniffers, I think, is quite a bold shout for the Brits to give a
Yeah,
nod to.
yeah. But then
They do
they've had a
this.
huge year this year, Amel and the Sniffers.
Yeah,
It's been like definitely their most successful record, I think, the
yeah,
latest
but
one.
they've managed to in the past kind of just be unaware slash ignore little things like that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
true.
and I think it's nice to see them giving nods. Like I keep can't get that Amel and the Sniffers doing in my head song out
Yeah,
of my
that's
head.
great,
I
mate.
don't.
It's
I just keeps popping up in my life, and it's
uh
so good.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get it, man. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That there's some stuff that I have just never heard of. I don't, and it was the same at the Grammys yesterday. Who the hell is Benson Boone? Who is that man?
so yeah, this is what I was going to come on to. So one, the big negative for me is the this TikTok influence, and to be fair, it has taken over the way music's kind of consumed, and they are the
Yeah,
biggest hits now. These
it has to
these
be
artists,
represented for sure.
but yeah, like Miles Smith is it who's up for best newcomer?
Miles
Miles,
Smith. Oh yeah, Miles of the Y.
yeah. So
Yeah, he's up for Song
he,
of the Year as well.
so he's very much came through this TikTok, and it's a strange phenomenon because whilst lots of people will be fully like aware of the songs, they're not household names, and it's weird because they've got some of the biggest songs around and not the biggest media presence to go with it. It's such a
Mhm.
strange thing to see because like you just summed it up then and said who's Benson Boone, and he must have had one of the biggest songs of 2024. But usually they'd come hand in hand with like
I have no idea.
yeah, it's that
But even then, you know, you talk about the kind of TikTokification of it,
yeah.
and KSI Thick of It is up for Song of the Year, which
No.
I have since deleted TikTok. I'm no longer on TikTok, but when it came out, I was on the app, and I didn't see anything about that song that wasn't complete mocking, and like no one
Yeah,
reacted
it
positively
was,
to
yeah.
it. Nobody. It's gotten big because people were laughing at it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that you can't just because it's had the most clicks does not mean it is the best. And you
yeah.
cannot put that up for an award like
Just
that. I think it's
just another
crazy.
example, isn't it, of
Yeah.
grabbing something based off like streams and not completely missing the point of why it's
I
so
know.
big.
Exactly. And then, you know, you took, and we spoke before about kind of behind the times and that. And you look at the nominees for Best New Artist. English Teacher are not a new band. They've been going for a fair amount of time.
Mm,
You know, I understand that the album came out last
yeah,
year as it is, but they're not a new group. Ezra Collective are definitely not a new band.
They're a
They've already
couple of
won a
albums deep,
Mercury
aren't they?
Award like
Yeah.
2 albums ago. Yeah,
Mm.
it's and the Last Dinner Party again, massive meteoric rise, but they should have been in this category last year
Yeah.
instead of it coming this year when they're at the end of this cycle and they're kind of gearing up for whatever's happening next.
Yeah.
You're a year late, and I don't know who is putting together the Brit Awards nominations, but I think there must be like either old, incompetent, or both.
International song, No Starburster.
Let me see. International song. Oh, there's Benson Boone again.
Yeah.
Eminem. I had no idea Eminem put anything out this year. Like he is so far past it. I
Mm.
get it. I get Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, the Joe. Is it just Joe? The one with that fella off Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jack Harlow and
That
Noah Khan.
song.
They've been
Which song
huge.
did he get nominated for?
End
Joe.
of beginning.
Yeah. So that song was out years ago. It just kind of had a TikTok boom.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'd say
That's
years
he.
ago. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Like, how can you nominate that for the 2025 Brit Awards? I feel like it should only encompass things that have been released in the 12 months since the last awards.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like how they put English teacher on because they, whilst they're late to the party, though, it is an improvement because a band like that probably wouldn't have made the cut a few years ago. So I think
No, I totally
some of it,
agree. But then
some
I
of
think
it's moving in the right.
they're only there because of the Mercury Award.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think they're a band that would be on the Brits radar. Whereas if they were exactly the same band from London who had been to the Brit school, I think
mm,
maybe they would be on the Brits
yeah.
radar. But because they're sort of northern and not from London and working class, perhaps the Brits don't really kind of notice. Maybe that's what I'm
Possibly.
saying.
Well, yeah. In comparison
Yeah.
to Last Dinner Party, who I feel like they come through the Brit school.
I don't know, but if you were to tell me that they did, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes. Who's got the Critics' Choice this year? Because Last Dinner Party got it last year.
They did get it last year. Let me see. So the
Rain.
shortlist is Elmeni, Elmiene. No idea who that is. Good Neighbors, Miles Smith.
Myles Smith. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's the three. I don't know who he
Um,
is.
he's just had a big song on TikTok. It's that
Um,
Stargazing, I think, was his song.
I don't know.
Um,
At the end of last year, my account got banned on TikTok.
what have you been
Um,
doing?
I enjoy sort of winding people up in comment sections, and TikTok is a very
Okay.
fun place to do that. Um, but then
How did
yeah,
he ban you though?
just multiple violations is what it said.
It's a
But
good way to
yeah,
go.
it got banned, and then I kind of made a new account, and then like my For You page was so unniche. I'd spent like years crafting an incredibly weird, incredibly niche For You page, and I thought I just can't be bothered to put that time in again. So I got rid of it.
Well, yeah, without putting that craft in, you'd have been exposed to the likes of Benson Boone and Miles Smith, I
Well,
imagine.
exactly. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's the
But
time to
yeah, I
do the
mean,
runner.
overall, like you said, there's some glimmers of really strong stuff. I'm like thrilled to see Near Archives not only up for dance act but also for artist of the year. That's like
Yeah.
huge, and she's had a massive year. To be fair to her, English teacher as well. I know Ezra Collective are definitely an established act, but that's pretty big for them to come up through the Brit Awards that they've got going on. Like you said, Amel and the Sniffers and Confidence Man as well. Like that's massive for them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll see how it goes. The other thing that I noticed was that Michael Kiwanuka was up for the R&B act,
Yeah,
and
I thought that was weird. I thought that was
I
wrong.
wouldn't describe that as record as an R&B album.
No, well, he stood out like a sore thumb in the category. I thought that just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
strange.
think there are definitely like traditional rhythm and blues influences on that record, like without a doubt. But it's not an R&B record, and you're sort of like wondering, are we going to have they said we need to shoehorn Kiwanuka into somewhere? Because it's not alternative, it's not rock, it's
It's
but
moral.
then it's
Would you
not
not put it in the
like
alternative? Maybe
maybe I
it's
guess
not
I get,
pop,
but
is
then
it?
it's
So does it not fall into that?
yeah, perhaps I don't know. It just it's a bit of an odd pick, I think.
Hmm.
But then, yeah, hip hop and grime. I got Little Simz up for grime, but then Little Simz hasn't released anything, huge in the last year. She did the Drop Six last
Just a
year,
name. Well, similar
which is
to Fender,
good.
isn't it? They've kind of just booked the name.
Yeah, but that's not how award shows should work at all.
No, I know. It's definitely not. But like I said, with the Brits and Grammys, they've got such a profile. They can do whatever they want, can't they? They've got,
Yeah, that's
uh,
part of the problem. It kind of feels like it's stale. It's a bit rotten.
yeah, we need maybe something to come out from localized, maybe like the Northern Music Awards.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, what I think they need to do is bring back the NME awards to what they used to be, because
tours.
yeah, the tours and also just like chaos. That was like part of, like I said earlier, like Jarvis getting his bum out and so on.
Mm,
Part of the kind of chaos of the evening is what was really exciting about it.
yeah, this kind of
And the
indie
NME
sleaze
awards
era
definitely.
with just a bit of chaos.
Yeah, exactly.